Everybody has a very unique definition of the metaverse. While it has to be decentralized, subject to the Web3, the motivation from Web3 community. But it has also been seen that a lot of immersive experiences right now being made are titled as metaverses. So the question really is that will the metaverses from just a decentralized chain perspective will outgrow the total number of immersive experiences that individual creators or the companies will make over the period of time? Answer is no. Both sides will compete with each other with respect to the volume and value of the immersive experiences. So at a holistic level, slide number 3, at a holistic level, one has to be very careful when envisaging an immersive experience per se. Whether we want to go and load that in a decentralized, Decentraland kind of setup, or we want to rather create our own infrastructure and want to load that experience within our own infrastructure, I mean. So the step number 1, I believe, is the identity, which is most likely going to be attacked the first, I guess, and that's been happening now over years anyway. Within the metaverse, it makes it more challenging because today morning I was in a masterclass with Ernst & Young, and since Abhishek anyways represent the company, and the conversation was around the false identity that the avatars can apt. While it is not Rahul, it can be somebody else impersonating me in the metaverse saying I'm Rahul. So it makes it very visual, hence becomes more vulnerable. That's one. The second part is the existing data breaches is one part, but the data per se is not just limited to personal or financial data. Data is related to what is the behavioral pattern of the user. The user comes in, he goes into several different types of experiences being built over there, tracking that person to going and creating a connection and then exploiting that individual, sometimes even with respect to manipulating them or post manipulation, harassing them, and at some point also intimidating them to get either or financial or other types of benefits from that person. Slide number 4. And while this will continue to be there, the identity theft is not going to go anywhere in the next 50 years. It is only going to be different ways by which the folks will identify and find that there will be identity theft of different types. But we do sit down as far as the individual centralized or decentralized experiences are concerned. We do sit on very weak authentication systems. Now, when I say authentication systems being weak is since number 1, we deal in the 3D environment. We aren't dealing in a sophisticated DevOps or a sophisticated, in cloud infrastructure where we have got single sign-ons and we are sort of, tracking down to ensuring that certain set of people just log in and things like that. You are in a 3D environment. 3D is already a rendered environment. One of the conversations I had with a very senior executive, managing director level of a big 5 a few weeks back on the same subject, and I categorized the metaverse security into 3 aspects of it. I said one is that what if you have a training room that you have training a building or an institute that you have created within the metaverse, and that you have hundreds and thousands of people come over there and get trained. That's one way to experience in the metaverse. The second one is where you have gotten now some kind of an IoT, which means it's a digital twin of, say, your home or your small factory, or one section of the factory that you're able to digitally manage in the 3D immersive environment. That's the second type of a metaverse experience. And the third one is a digital twin of a nuclear plant. So the question really is that what if somebody goes and clicks on the 3D digital twin and switches off the washing machine at office or a coffee machine at office? You don't need a layer of authentication. But if somebody goes and shuts down the cooling system of the nuclear plant, then there's a major drama waiting. So thinking of these systems, I think it's also important to understand and know how to design in the metaverse. That methodology of designing and from a concept all the way to execution, that has to be thought through. Where it's a very critical function in terms of the business, choice in the metaverse, there has to be layers of authentication, layers of maybe people involvement built into it. We sit on the communication protocols which are insecure. There are two aspects of it. One is that there are definitely insecure communication protocols being used by the metaverse platforms. Rather than that, there are. I think the whole thought process in this in designing of the metaverse, experiences is not still around security. There is very less awareness about the security per se. It seems to me that there's always going to be an escape book. That hey, we've designed something nice and cool. It looks very nice. When you go in, oh my God, it's great. But nobody is going to come and say, hey, have you done the testing? Have you done the QA? Have you done the security audit? And there's always going to be gray area in it. So you got to be very, very sure, since we are still at the building block level, and that there's still not a software that I can go. I think Abhishek will also, and Arijit will also agree with me that in the case of SaaS platforms, we are able to still go and upload something. It downloads to me some kind of a security audit or report. I can take a look at the audit report. I can see, okay, where the external injections are and things like that. I can work on them, go back and again redo the security audit. But in the case of a 3D immersive environment, what do? All I can upload is a FBX or a GLB file, and what more can I do? You see, very strange example, but I've been a user of this strange product a few months back. When this company reached out to me based from Delhi, who said that they can send avatars, unlimited number of avatars, just by giving a link of the experience. So I gave them a link of a spatial experience and said, can you send avatars here? And they really sent out 75 avatars into the experience through a bot. Now, this experience is designed by a company that I truly admire, number one, because I've been showcasing them for many, many months, number one. Number two, I'm a great admirer of the founder of the company, since, I've already learned so much from him. And going to spatial by first going and clicking and doing single sign-on, then going into it takes about 3 or 4 minutes. He was able to send 75 bots in about 5 minutes by the watch. So the experience that I admire the most actually broke down because it was not built for 75 avatars with respect to the space. So you are literally looking at people who will not only think from just purely from a data perspective, they will think it from even making it bad. So while you could have a great experience on the immersive and you're running through a very nice event with 100 CXOs from all over the world, you just don't know who can send the 100 bots into it and spoil your event. Is that not a breach? That is a very big breach. And I believe that those are areas which the executives, the people I think who are investing into it and the ones who are building onto it, they have to rethink about it, that the metaverse security is not just primarily around looking at the vulnerabilities from a software perspective. They have to be looked at from an experience perspective. They have to be looked at from a continuation perspective, that while I am continuing with my efforts on building the metaverse experiences, I must also ensure that all of them are being structured correctly and that no external bots or no external intervention is possible unless and until it just breaks down completely.